What's going on, everybody? We are live here with the Weekly Walkoff, the 5th episode. It was a big week in the MLB. We had some more home openers. We had a big week on Sorare, some challenges on Candy, and we'll get into all of that on this episode. Welcome back to the Weekly Walkoff. What's going on, Greg? What's going on, Nate? we're without Greg today. We got Nate and I running the show, and we're going to get into a bunch of stuff.
For sure, yeah. Good to be here. Getting ready to jump into it.
Yeah, cool, man. Let me get this thing. Didn't realize my settings wasn't quite dialed in yet. My bad. I'm still getting used to this live stream stuff. But let's see who we got in the chats here. Let me see here. I'll get the chats up and ready for when people dive in. Let's talk about the week of baseball, man. It was a good one. We can just jump right into it. One of the things I want to do right now, maybe we can look at the past week and kind of just scroll through some games, talk about what we've seen out there, and then also kind of just scroll through the dates to see what's coming up in the upcoming week and what we're excited about. There's a couple things that are kind of catching my eye right now. So we'll take a look at stat leaders and then kind of how that translates into our team draft that we did on the first episode. So I'm going to zoom in right here. And maybe we could start. What games were you watching this week, man? I know there's a lot of good ones. I had my eyes glued on the Padres Braves series.
Yeah, that's for sure the series this game week. It's been fun to watch. Can't wait to watch that nightcap here when we're done filming. But I on a biased level have been enjoying the fact that the Red Sox are still giving me fun baseball to watch. It was a tough to get swept by Pittsburgh, but I love Brian Reynolds, so been enjoying watching him set the world on fire. But at the same time, last couple of days, great offense from the Sox, and a grand salami by Devers yesterday always goes down smooth.
That was huge, man. Yeah, that was nice to see in that lineup. And that's something that we'll get to in Panther Rob. What is going on? Panther Rob right here is the winner of the Jeffrey Springs card that we gave out. The dude ends up playing it. We get it over to him right before lock, okay? And he ends up playing it. And last we checked, he was in 11th place in the minors competition. So huge dub. Jeffrey Springs just continues to light it up. We'll see him in the top.
Shout out Panther Rob too. He's been Talking Candy supporter for a long time.
Amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Panther Rob. Let's go. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Your Sox definitely have been fun. My Giants, look, it's not looking too good, man. We blew a 2 or 3 run lead? We had a 4-run lead. Doval came in and blew it in the 9th yesterday. We had the game where we just absolutely destroyed the White Sox. We hit 5 home runs in a game. So, like, what are we doing? Like, what's it going to be?
Yeah, they got to spread that offense out a little bit.
For sure. Like, imagine stacking it up that game with the Giants. So, a lot of other good baseball too, man. I've been following this Guardians-Mariners series.
Yep.
They've played twice already this season, and I'm just like falling in love with both of those teams. It's
so much fun to watch. So many good players. Like, yeah, I don't know. There is so much young talent in baseball right now, and I don't know if I'm just falling in love with baseball on a deeper level through all of the candy and Sorare and everything on another level. But I just feel like these last couple of years, plus the excitement of all the new rules, I am loving baseball right now.
It is rocking, man. And this is, sad to admit as a baseball fan, this is my first year with MLB TV. It's a problem.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It is so a problem, dude.
It's funny you bring that up. I had never had it until about 3-4 years ago. And then I had a ticket package to the Red Sox the year that the COVID year where we didn't have baseball, and they gave us MLB TV for free as like, sorry, there's no baseball. That carried on for a couple of years, and then I won it through a candy contest this year. So I've had it for like 4 years in a row now, and I'll never go back. It's so nice to be able to watch those late games, and especially the late games. I love being able to watch those West Coast games that we wouldn't otherwise be able to see.
The condensed ones are so cool too, because you wake up early in the morning, catch up with the games from last week. You have a little bit of time. You can crush through one in 5-10 minutes. We got a couple guys in here. Samuel, welcome in, the sniper, Cardinals fan. Ian Van Winkle, Cardinals fan as well. Jordan Walker's looking good.
Yeah, dude is so big. He's a beast.
Oh, he is a beast. They're gonna be fine. Their pitching looks a little bit shaky. Freddie Peralta, I watched that game today. Freddie Peralta is just dealing right now, as is Brandon Woodruff. The Brewers are looking really sweet. So they've been some good baseballs to
Except for
watch.
Corbin Burns.
What's that?
Except for Corbin Burns.
Except for
much to my
Corbin Burns.
demise.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll get into that when we talk So Rare.
For sure. What do we got this upcoming week? So I'm gonna flip on this screen again, see what we got. I want to know in the chat room right here. Great show out today. What were you guys watching last week, and what are you excited for this week? I'm gonna screen through this a little bit. We already talked about our two teams. Let's see here. Oh, this is spring training. Where am I? I'm way back here. Let me see here. Opening day was the 30th. So we're gonna go to April 3rd. Kind of see what games. Yeah, we had the White Sox, the Mets, Minnesota off to a pretty good start. Who else is off to a good start? The Astros are looking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was pretty much glued on. I was pretty much glued on the Padres and the Braves series this week. That was definitely a fun one. I followed my Giants a little bit. Oh yeah, DJ Local for sure. Hunter Brown looked really good today.
Ooh,
I don't know if he went 7 or 8, but he had the quality start. He had the full game. I actually had him in my common all-star lineup. So was glad that he was able to get in there. Dropped a nice 38 on So Rare. That was fun. More so curious as to what's coming up this week. Maybe we kind of look ahead to this week, see what we got going up tomorrow on the 10th, and see what the new series are going to be in this upcoming game week. The first thing, obviously, that I looked at, man, like the Rays are tearing it up too. I mean, like they just look lights out on all levels.
Yeah.
Super fun to watch them play. I don't know which one of us drafted them, but good on you.
Yeah, great run differential going right now.
Yeah, I know. 11-0 against the A's today. So obviously the first thing, like I looked at for next week, I'm like, who the A's playing? And the A's have a waste, the A's are in Baltimore. And I'm like, oh my goodness, somebody with a bunch of Baltimore stack is going to just go absolutely bananas this week, which I love to see. Ace, what's going on? Ace makes it on time this week. Love it, man. Love to see it. Thanks for joining us. What else do we got? Oh, speaking of the Rays, okay, your Sox got the Rays. You're in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Should be fun.
That should be a good series. Should be some good baseball there. And I think that let's see, you had just said Orioles against Oakland, but the biggest potential stack this week has to be either the Angels for this game week, I should say game week 4. So Monday through Thursday would be the Angels against Washington. Even though you'll lose one game, they only play 3.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the Cardinals at Colorado. And then they'll have a 4th game against Pittsburgh on Thursday. Those were the ones that stood out to me.
For sure. I've been eyeing that one. Probably going to play a Cardinal stack in some form or another. This week because of that 4-game series that they have, and then that one against Pittsburgh. But there's a couple things that I'm kind of hesitant about. Like, I don't know if I'm going to go 100% all in on that, or just kind of go like the National League lineup route. It's probably going to be a game time decision, but if I were to go all in, it would probably be on like playing some limited cards in the rare all-star, right? That I have picked up an Arenado. So
that was a good pickup.
The thing that is like interesting to me about the Cardinals is that they platoon those guys like against righties and lefties, and there are 2 lefties that they're facing, 2 righties that they're facing. Kyler Freeland's looking really good. But the Cardinals got the bats too. So Ian, St. Louis and Colorado runs. You know what I love about that too, even more so just from a fun aspect of it, is Arenado back in Colorado. I mean,
yeah,
it's not his first time, but yeah. Let me see here. Ace is an O's fan. Postpone this home opener. Yeah, that's a good one too. You make a good point with the Angels too, man. I mean, they're tearing it up. They're I mean, I actually hit a nice little parlay yesterday. I'm up actually. You had asked me this week, how's the unit count doing for baseball betting? And I've been putting out units almost on a daily basis. I want to say probably like 28 entries so far this season. So across the first 23 entries or something that I put out. After you asked me that, I told you I was pretty even, and I was maybe like under half a unit or something like that, or over a half a unit. But I'm up 6 this weekend. So
Nice.
had a nice stack with Renfroe, Trout over numbers. Bichette was in there, so I had a fun game on the late game last night out here in LA. So
there you go, hot little run there.
There we go. Yeah, keep it going for sure. Also, love the Yordan Alvarez grand slam, and been parlaying some nerfies too. I don't know if you know what a nerfie is, but no run first inning.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've heard you say that before, actually.
Okay, yeah. So let's look at my Giants. We got the Dodgers in San Francisco this week. What else?
Sam the Sniper says I don't have. Oh, sorry. Sam the Sniper says I don't have an Orioles stack, but I do have Gunnar, and he's in a good spot. And I think that that's a good. And again, we're not quite on Sorare yet, but it's all meshed together. I think that it's still, even if you don't have stacks, which I don't really either, right? I'm just kind of starting my limited collection. I've got like 18 limited cards, and a lot of them are pitchers. So I've focused on studs, but I'm just getting to a point where I have a little bit of excess studs. This was the first week where I entered an all-star lineup because of it. And within that, it's about picking the right one. So even if you can't stack Orioles, knowing that Gunnar has a advantageous, matchup, that's the stuff that can really make the difference in a contest where you have to come in the top 10% to win.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, you don't need a stack to win. That's for sure. I mean, like, yeah, sometimes it comes in handy, but like, I mean, this week we'll get to it later on, but like one of the segments that I want to throw into the Sorare one at the end of the video is who's in, who's out, like so far who's on your roster that is you're done with, who is new into the fold. I've definitely gone shopping quite a bit, like the 6 units up, but I was like, okay, let's throw it in Sorare.
Funnel that somewhere.
Let me see. But I mean, like this week, it's week by week too. Varsho went crazy last week, and he's got like 0 this week. So, it really just depends. I'll let you answer this while I pull up one more thing here. We'll look at the league leaders for now.
Obviously it would be a pretty hot take to say that Duvall is going to keep this up all year. That being said, I love in fantasy baseball grabbing guys that are coming off of a bad year. Duvall is a power hitter. He's had good years. He's had great stretches. He's got real power. And now you put him in a park with that green monster, and pesky pull down the line is a cheap shot too. Is he going to keep this up? No way. But I picked him up in my 12-team keeper league. Happy to have him. He's the number 2 guy. I was real close to grabbing him in Sorare. I'm kicking myself now. I think he was $14 and now he's 30. So I don't think that he'll keep this up, but it's a fun offense, and he's got a lot of protection around him at the moment. Verdugo's hitting, those things matter too, because it means you got to pitch to him. So hopefully he keeps it up for a nice little stretch here and buoys that offense for as long as he can.
That's a fun, man. That you make a really good point. Picking guys up off, coming off bad seasons. I mean, like, look at Joey Gallo. He's lighting it up too.
Yep.
And I'm
Brian Reynolds. Not bad season, but not what it was supposed to be. Brian Reynolds looks great. Cedric Mullins looks great. Like, those are the guys that I focus on in the preseason.
I'm kicking myself for not picking up like Gallo or a different bat. I always knew that I needed one more rare bat, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, Belt might be fine. Belt might be, good out in Toronto. But at this point, for me, Belt in Toronto, this was going to be safe for later on. But, there's just too much going on over there. There's too many guys that can hit, although nobody in the bottom of their lineup is hitting as of recent. But let's pull up these stat leaders. A couple of really fun ones this week. I think my favorite series so far early in this week are Boston, Tampa Bay is going to be fun.
Yep.
San Diego at the Mets. That's going to be an awesome time to watch. New York at Cleveland. Love that. And then a fun interleague one too, Seattle at Chicago. So like those, going to be some fun baseball. We can pull up the stat leaders, touch on these just real quick. And again, hype it up in the chat. Let me know who you guys have on your rosters, who you guys are looking at on your fantasy teams. But the leaders right now in batting average, Greg would love this. Luis Arraez. I think he was talking about picking him up after we had talked about that. Matt Chapman, I absolutely love that. The dude's in a contract year. He's just absolutely raking. He's averaged 457, but I think he leads the league in slugging too, or is up there at least.
I love early season ratios because I always think it's intriguing to watch who lasts the longest, right? Like, nobody's going to finish the season over 400, but one of these guys is going to take a really insane batting average pretty deep into the season. And then, Arraez is far from a surprise on this list. Freeman, not a surprise either, but Chapman and Duvall, not guys you would expect. Those are guys that hit, you're hoping that they hit close to 250 and a bunch of bombs.
Yeah, no doubt. DJ Local says O'Neal Cruz got injured. How bad was it, DJ Local? Let us know. You want to pull that up, Greg? I'll go into some other. What's that?
You said you want to pull that up, Greg?
Oh my goodness.
Let's see.
Nate. Home runs. Pete Alonso at the top. Brian Reynolds, Duvall, Aaron Judge, Rafi Devers.
Broken ankle.
No.
Home plate collision.
That is tough.
Bench is cleared.
Breaking news. Thank you for that, DJ Local. That's crazy. He's been
2 hours ago.
Oh, that's rough.
Wow.
Panther Rob says he's trying to get Chapman. Matt Chapman. Yeah. Who the other Chapman that's looking good too is Araldis. I mean, like, he shut us down. He's throwing 102. I mean, like, he's looking like the Chapman of old. That's
an interesting bullpen to watch there between him and Barlow. I know a lot of people are buying Chapman, selling Barlow, but we'll see. There's a lot of baggage with Chapman at this point. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, Jansen got into some dicey waters today. I'm sure you were dialed into that.
He skated out of it, though. He
did skate out of it.
I'm just watching.
That guy makes me nervous, man.
I'm watching the highlight here. Ooh.
Adam Duvall leads in RBIs. Yordan Alvarez, thank you for that grand slam. Brian Reynolds, Randy stays hot from the World Baseball Classic, and then leading in hits. Oh my goodness. Look at the top three. Chapman, Guerrero, Bichette.
There you go.
Yeah, love to see it. Bags, Miles Straw. Just coming out the gates. And then, no other surprises. Gleyber Torres is having a really, really good start too. Let's take a look at the pitching leaders real quick, and then we can pop into kind of a quick candy update. Let me see here. All right, pitching leaders, Jeffrey Springs. There we go. You love to see it too. That was a nice call by, shout out to James. James was the one in the stream last week that suggested that. So that was the giveaway that we ended up doing. And for everybody who's in the chat right now, I will say this. I'm a big fan of, I think I'll talk to you about this, Nate, later on. As long as you guys are on board with it, I think we're going to start pivoting to the giveaways just for people live in the audience. It's fun to do it that way. If you're watching here live, or at least a couple, we want to show the live audience some love. So
most definitely.
But pitching leaders, these are just wins. Freeland's looking good. I mean, both of his wins, I think, came in Colorado too, which is, awesome. I was actually tied in, the games that you watch because of these fantasy contests is just awesome, man. I think we were on the phone on Friday and we watched, we're like, oh, CJ Abrams.
Yeah, we were watching like Washington.
With a gapper. And of course I was watching, I had action on Mackenzie Gore over 4 strikeouts. So that's why I was watching that one. And Mackenzie Gore's looking real nice too.
I don't even remember why I was watching it, but it was for sure something to do with fantasy sports.
Yeah. DJ Local grabbed the Reynolds. Love that. That's another one. I'm absolutely kicking myself because, I told you I need another bat in Sorare, like another rare bat. The guys who I was deciding between that were of good value when I was looking at the time was Reynolds at like 80, Now it's 240.
Yep.
Gallo was down in the 40s when I was looking. And who
I
was
still wouldn't buy Gallo. Like,
yeah, it's
that's
boom or bust.
fickle. But Reynolds I'm buying is legit.
Boom or bust, yeah.
Reynolds way more than Duvall, Panther Rob. Reynolds
Yeah.
way over Duvall for season long.
Leading in saves, Jordan Romano up at the top with David Bednar. You'll love it.
Love to see it.
And I will say that is such a tough position to play, man, in Sorare.
I'm learning that quickly.
It's a kicker. Yeah. Yep. Your guy Kikuchi got shelled today.
Yeah, he did. I've got a lot of different types of relievers that I've grabbed unlimited just because I've recognized that there's a lot of different ways you could go about it. And at the end of the day, it's a lot of luck. Do they get deployed in that 3-game span or not?
Yeah. It's a very fickle situation too. I mean, like I was looking at the guy who came on in relief for the Guardians today. And I mean, like he put together like a long performance. I mean, like they went into extras. So, and he was looking good. But like that's not going to happen all the time by any means. Plus they have a lot of big arms in that bullpen too. Like it's a very crowded pen and they're nails, but it's tough when it comes to actually spending any money on it, or having the cojones to play it. Leading in strikeouts, Nick Lodolo, Garrett Cole, Jeffrey Springs, DeGrom, and Cease. And then quality starts, Garrett Cole, Gosman, our guy who I think has yet to give up an earned run. Stroman's lights out too. Urias and Freeland. Stroman, I don't think has given up an earned run either. So
Gosman, let me look this up just to get the actual number. And I know that everything's a little bit down on Sorare right now because they're kind of pumping some new auctions in that have stabilized everything and stopped it from going up the way that it had been. But Gosman's still at $18 to $20 pitcher.
Yeah.
On Sorare. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Like we spotted him as a value in preseason and he's done nothing but perform. And for some reason, people aren't buying it. I don't know why.
I would say mostly supply. I don't know yet. I know
the supply has balanced it out, but he never went up over the last couple of weeks like others have. But sorry, go ahead.
No, you make a good point there. Yeah, stuff's definitely starting to like even out.
Yes.
And I think this week even more with the amount of rewards that are going out. Like, we talked about this. It's just people are just going to, not need as much. Like you get overload once you hit your collection, and if the growth isn't there in terms of numbers, then that might be a little bit tough to sustain because they have to put out the rewards.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want less rewards.
Right. No, for sure. It's all about them making sure they don't overdo the auctions. But yeah, the rewards have to be part of it.
Yeah, it's about getting the utility out of it, like you find value there. Like I had a tough time spending. I did buy a couple because, like you made a good point. You're in this thing for the long run. You might as well get your guys and get your use out of them for a really long time. So,
right.
Like I'm almost trying to replicate the lineup that got me that 4th place finish. We'll talk about that later on, but somewhat like that, like I got a couple guys. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
What's the easiest way to play Sorare being no money spent? Common all-star. You can do the majors competitions, try to get to the top of the leaderboard. I would say, like I've gotten the most common question that I have gotten in the Discord on YouTube from people who are just getting into Sorare MLB and maybe not necessarily, like diehard baseball guys, is on pitcher starts, right? So what I've been doing in the comments is I want a little bit more depth in pitcher starts because I don't want to have 1 week where I can't start a pitcher. Like you obviously are going to pick number 1, number 2 guys in the rotation. So, there could be game weeks where you have a weekend and those pitchers aren't pitching and then you're out of luck on a starting pitcher position. So you can have 15 cards max in your common collection. I'm going to make sure that I have at least 4 starting pitchers so that I can have, options when it comes to playing. And for those of you out there listening to this that are newer to baseball too, it's a 5-man rotation for the most part in baseball. So every 5 starts. So just look at their, the easiest way to put it is just look at their schedule a guy starts one game, skips 4, and then starts the next one. And of course, you have to take into account days off, travel days, rest days, stuff like that. So that's one of the tips. Should we look into just briefly our draft, see how we're doing?
Yeah. Is it updated?
It is updated. Greg's at the top.
I'm almost at break even, baby. Let's go.
Almost at break even. You got some teams, Nate, that are going to turn it around. Okay.
Yeah. The Phillies are not doing what I need them to do.
And the Cards and the Padres are doing all right, but not great. Yeah. Differential.
It's a rough showing there. Let's focus on you and Greg.
Yeah. The Mets, Padres, Phillies, Cardinals. Look at the run differential between your top 4 teams is negative 25. It's like you're trying to win the Masters.
Yeah.
But those teams are obviously going to rake and they're going to come back around. I mean, yeah. So who do we got here putting up big numbers? Greg's at the top. We'll start with him. The Braves and Dodgers.
He's got the Rays. There's your answer.
Oh, he's got the Rays and the Angels. He's going to be pretty nasty. These teams are nasty. I will say what I like about my squad. Here, let me zoom in on this thing so these guys can see. We got to find a way to get people to vote on these or jump onto a team with us. I know we had talked about that earlier on. Oh, here we go. I can't zoom in with that. I got to go with this button right here. One thing that I like about my teams, let's see what we got in the comments too, is that I like my low end teams this year. My duds, like my bottom of the barrel, are pretty fun to watch, man. Like the Reds, Rockies. Reds and Rockies, you know.
I haven't gotten to see Nick Lodolo pitch yet, but I've looked at his stat lines. I saw his stat line from yesterday. And I mean, if he looks like that, if Hunter Green takes a step forward, like pitching is everything in baseball. You don't have to have that good an offense if you've got arms like that. So it's exciting to see the shift, and you just have to feel good for a fan base too. Shout out Jake Baker, my guy from the Candy community, but he's a huge Cincy fan. But it's cool to see that shift where you're like, ooh, this franchise could look different for the next few years.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I don't think they're very deep, from what I know, but they've got some guys who can rake, man. Yeah. Like I think Spencer Steer's off to a pretty good start. I don't think Will Myers is doing anything. India, I don't know how he's off to, but I haven't followed them super closely, but yeah, I was going to take action on Steer the other day, and of course he leads off the game with a home run in the first inning. So let's see what we got in the comments. If you want to chime in anything else on this, go for it.
Panther Rob
hates the Yankees, but love the hat. Thank you, man. I promised Nate that I am not a Yankees fan, and I need to go hat shopping. I know I keep saying it, but I have a couple Yankee hats in the collection, and this one kind of felt Eastery. It's kind of like purple and tan. So happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Sunday, whatever you guys celebrate out there. Let me see here.
Sam the Sniper is asking about his 4 common starters. So
okay.
Actually, do you want to pull up? I'll show my common squad if you want to.
Yeah.
I do it. Yeah.
So he has 4 starting pitchers: Lodolo, Dustin May, Flaherty, Justin Steele. I don't know. I really like those options. Steele's looking good, man. He's like all 4 of those guys. Like that's the type of depth that I would love. I don't think you need to add or take away from there, especially given the way that Lodolo and Dustin May are looking.
But you can try the point that I was going to make. If you want to toss, there we go. So what I've done here, let me just put this just to starters. So these are my common starters. I started with Ohtani. There we go. I started with Ohtani, Flaherty, Chris Sale, and Dustin May. And now, given I have won a couple tier 2 rewards that have allowed me to flip these into better swaps. But like, for example, yesterday, I wasn't necessarily going to get rid of Dustin May, but I gave it a shot knowing he was tier 2, and I ended up with Christian Javier. So nice. It's worth noting that you can back out of a swap. You'll lose your swap for that day, but you're not locked in. I actually have mine. I could do mine right now. But nice. So So yeah, I like Dustin May. It wasn't that I didn't like Dustin May, but I like Christian Javier more.
Yep.
So to me, that daily swap, especially now that I'm at 13 of my 15 cards, relatively soon I'm going to have the full 15. So it's about making those incremental changes, and then maybe you want to try and work your way towards a stack, but 15 cards is not that many to play stacks in common. So to me, now that I'm not getting rid of Gosman because I'm all in on him, and I'm obviously not getting rid of Ohtani. So these other guys, I like Bieber and I like Javier a lot, but it doesn't mean that I won't necessarily see what I get for 5 options on a swap. So should I do my swap right now?
Yeah, do it. Do you want
Right.
to roll the Sorare portion of the video?
Yeah, we may as well. We've been talking about it, and then we'll cap it off with Candy at the end.
Perfect. Yeah, let's keep on rolling. Let's keep the flow going. Yeah, do the swap. I tried to swap out today, and my swap I canceled out of, and that's just good info to know, guys. You don't have to go for the swap. I tried to swap out Belt because I told you I'm done with Belt. Just too many bats in the lineup. And then my best option there was really nobody reliable, like a starting pitcher that I didn't like. I did like Danny Jansen, but he's also platoon on the same Blue Jays team. So I just decided just to keep it with Belt. And if I ever want to go back, and it's not like Jansen's going to make or break the lineup. He's good, but I decided to stay with Belt.
So another little tip, you don't get to see, which I wish Sorare would add this, but you don't get to see what tier a card is just like from your collection. If you click into this, there's nowhere to see it. So what I've done is just go to a competition. So if you just go to this week's common competition and you go to the prize pool and you click into anything here, now you get brought to this page, which there's probably another way into this that I just don't know of. But now you've got the drop down here where you can go into tier 2. Like I don't think Flaherty. Yeah, so Flaherty's not a tier 2, so I probably won't waste my swap on him. Yeah, so he's a tier 3. So, it's worth knowing what tier a guy is in, because then you're going to find out, okay, this is the list that I'm going to get 5 guys from. So you're really just kind of playing the lottery each day, hoping that the guy that you're trading in is going to be worse than the options that you get to swap him out for. So I think that are you carrying more than one reliever or closer in common?
I just did because I swapped out a player, and Loizaga is the one that I went with. So let me say this. So I wanted to talk about one thing. Somebody left a comment, and not to be confrontational or anything like that, but somebody left a comment on my video a couple hours ago and said, I love how you led people array, or how do you say that? Whatever the phrase is. Astray. Yeah. I love how you led people astray with like the people that you drafted in your first video. And I was like, dude, not even close, man. Like,
like your original comments, you mean?
Yeah, my original comments. And I would never do that to the community here. I think we all know that. But what happened was Raisel Iglesias got hurt like 6 days before, and I had already recorded the video, had to swap it out. The 2 core guys I kept, but I did bring in Varsho. I brought in Acuna because I was able to downgrade to Loizaga, right? So this all kind of comes to fruition because you asked me about my relievers. I have Loizaga, and I ended up swapping out somebody, I forget who it was, for it might have been Logan O'Hoppe, who's tearing it up, but I got Camilo Doval. Who knows how? No, I kept O'Hoppe. I forget who it was, but we'll get into it later. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. I mean, so I ended up swapping it. So I also had the added benefit of getting an extra tier 1 card week 1, which we talked about, because anybody that had done a common swap this offseason was airdropped an extra tier 1 card after game week 1. So that helped work my way up to this Devers right here.
Nice.
Which is a nice new bat that I think that it went from Lindor to Scherzer to Goldschmidt to Devers, and now he's here to stay. That one's staying.
Love it.
But so what I think I'm going to do today is I already had Clase, and I got Felix Bautista the other day, but two relievers feels a little bit wasteful in common, and I could always back out of it. So I think that for the sake of rolling the dice on a tier 2, that's where I'm going to start with. So
Yep.
Let's do this.
Nice.
So yeah, so you go in here, you pick whichever you want, and as long as you've already locked into your game week lineups, you're good. But this will blow up your upcoming lineups. So whatever I've entered in for game week 4 is going to get ruined here if I swap this out. If I had Bautista in that lineup. So
yep, good point. Ooh, you got some options, man.
Yep.
Some fire.
I mean, we got to go Wheeler and Manoah here, right?
Ooh, so pull up a separate tab with who are your bats again? I mean,
yeah, okay.
I love Teoscar, and Dansby's just been lighting it up. Chris Bryant, I love too. I mean,
do I have to reshare?
I'm personally, and who are your starters again too? The reason why I decided to go 2 relievers is because when I originally drafted, I took Loaizaga and he wasn't a closer, so I wanted a closer reliever.
Yeah, I figure it's going to be a rare week where I don't start Clase. So, sure. Like we said, we have a swap every day. So every day I could go in and try and get a reliever too. And I've got other tier 2 guys behind. So I think I don't really need a bat. I'm just going through my comments here again. I mean,
have you been starting a bat in the flex spot?
Every week.
Okay.
I haven't been starting 2 starters because it just seems like the upside is with an extra bat. And that was off of your advice early on.
Yeah. For the common competitions, you guys, I mean, you'll see how I do it. I go boom or bust. It's so hard to score in those common competitions and get a limited card. It's even really hard to get. One thing that I noticed this week that I actually love is they make it really hard to get a tier 1. You need to come in top 500. So to really stack that lineup, it's tough.
It's funny you bring that up because I actually just crunched the simple math on that last night. And so the game week 1, you had to come in the top 2.98% to either get a limited card or a tier 1 common. Nice. And it was 3.5% in game week 2. So we went from 16,800 entries to 14,000 entries. But like you said, top 500 spots is how you get either a limited card or a tier 1 common, which in my opinion is a nice spot to establish what the cash point is for a common contest.
For sure. We'll talk about, my reward too. I'm down 1 common because I actually didn't get a common last week. So who we going with? Still thinking?
What would you go? Well, what would you do? I know which way I'm leaning.
Who are your starting pitchers?
Starting pitchers are.
Pull up your. Hold on, man. I wish I could.
Do I have to share it differently again?
Let me see. If you can pull up a separate tab and go to your lineup again, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's the way I'm sharing it. It's like sharing a specific tab somehow. So
Munoz went on the IL, huh? That was against Cleveland today. Samuel, that's no good. Interesting news.
Here, if
Paul Sewell was looking good too, though.
Here, I gotta just reshare a different tab real quick.
Cool.
All right, so this is the squad. And these are the starting pitchers.
Bieber. Okay, so you're looking for potentially another pitcher. Go into.
I guess I don't have to go pitcher. I am pretty stacked here.
Take a look at. Go batters. See what she got on batters.
Is what we're rocking here. So so Terang is a dead spot, right?
Yeah.
So really what it is I've got, maybe I should go back because I've only got 5 bats when Ohtani is pitching. I've got 6 bats when he's not. And I'm being stubborn and not swapping Yoshida, even though he's a tier 1 right now because I'm a buyer. So I guess maybe I should go bat here.
So hold on 1 second. Just pause it. Yeah. What I'm looking at right here, if I'm you got 1 middle infielder, 2 corner infielders, 3 corner infielders and an outfielder. So you're short on outfield. You also,
two
I'm
outfielders.
not including. I'm talking starting. I'm not talking Yoshida or Turang.
Oh, Yoshida's a starter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Outfield.
I've been playing him.
Okay, so Devers, Yoshida, Soto. Your options on the swap were
Swanson, Teoscar Hernandez, and Chris Bryant.
I might go maybe Swanson for another middle infield guy, but he's not going to put the power. Oof.
I just don't love the bats the way that I love the pitchers.
That's a tough one, man. Yeah, you're not going to be able to start those pitchers every week. It's good to have depth, but you could always take Ohtani out of the equation completely from pitcher and then, just hit him all the time.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
That's
too good.
I don't blame you.
I think I'm between keeping Batista. The reality is I'm probably trying this for a swap tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
So I think I either keep Batista. I honestly think I might just stay there because I don't love any of these bats. I don't think that any of them see my lineup. So it's either grab another starter, but like you said, I've got so many that I think I'm staying put. I think I'm just going to keep Batista and try and flip him again tomorrow.
There we go.
Done.
Nice. Sometimes the best decision is to stay pat.
Staying put.
All right. Want to talk about game week 2 now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Made a separate video on this. I released it yesterday. So here is the game week 2. It's a pretty good game week. So the top scores for me, 304 in the common all-star competition. It was insane. What a rush, man. I left work on Thursday night and I was in 22nd place with 28 points to go. Started looking at rosters who were ahead of me and saw a lot of Acuna. Didn't see any Riley or Strider. Ended up 12 points away from first place, which is a limited tier 1. So it was dope. It was so much fun, man. I think I was rooting for an Austin Riley walk-off. I mean, the home run that Carpenter hit off Strider was the nail in the coffin, plus the Cronenworth home run. He didn't get the 5 points extra for the win, just so close, but was a lot of fun. Ended up revealing this and, the prize pool, I was right in the limited tier 2, right? So one of the things that somebody had commented on actually on that video was that, and I didn't know this. I don't know if it's official or if it's just something that they noticed. I responded to the comment, so hopefully they get back. I don't know if it's in the fine print of Sorare's, how-to book somewhere. But they said that the way that they do the tiers is purely based off of secondary market pricing, right? So the fact that Yoshida was a 5 gem because there's not a lot of supply to him and he costs a lot on the market, he's up in that tier 1.
Interesting.
Which would make sense and is kind of a fair way to do it when it comes into, the tiering system.
Yeah.
I agree. So I ended up pulling a CJ Crone. And
which sucks when you consider what we just saw, my 5 options that were also from the same tier.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a little bit different, limited to common, but it's close.
I mean, there's some major dudes in the tier 2. I mean, Christian Javier, like you said, all the guys that you just saw, Dylan Cease, Shane McClanahan, absolute studs.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever, what's your solution to that? I mean, I'm proud of the 4th place finish. Yeah. And it was a wild ride. Hopefully could get back up there. I've learned a lot of things going into this week. My game week 3 is not looking too good. But we'll switch up the strategy just a little bit going into game week 4. I'm going to set the lineup, put some time into it this evening instead of doing it last minute kind of and figuring out ways to get in all these lineups. It's really where you want, you got to decide where you want to focus, right? And then go there.
Yeah.
So the top players in game week 2, Jacob deGrom, Sandy, Drew Rasmussen, Jesus Luzardo. Just these guys are all looking really good. Freddie Peralta's up there. Pablo. Relievers, tough one to play. Minter, that's nice. Evan Phillips, Clay Holmes, Bednar, Vladdy, Villar. Oh yeah, so yeah, what did I do with the Crone? I looked at the market, see what I could sold it for, and I was just I don't know. Like Crone goes crazy sometimes. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like
I mean,
he puts up
he was
numbers. It's
great
not
to
that he's a
start
bad
last season
player.
too.
Yeah. It's not that he's a bad player. It's just not worth a lot of money. So
Right.
instead of doing that, I just bought a KB, Chris
Nice.
Bryant on auction,
Yep.
just to pair them together. And that's the beauty of So Rare. Like, here, you won this. Now go buy something else.
Yep. Yep.
Vladdy top at the corner infield. My guy David VR, Austin Riley in there. So 2 of the top 3 corner infielders I had played in that one. Gleyber Torres looking nice. Dude, Xander Bogaerts looking real good this year.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
outfielders, Brian Anderson just went insane. Brian Reynolds and then
Brian
Ronald.
and Brian.
So, yeah, pretty good week overall. Here are the cards that I ended up with buying. And a lot of this was, I basically decided to, and this is new news. I was going to put this out on my Sorare NBA video tomorrow, but I decided to go common only for So Rare in the playoffs for MLB, or sorry, for NBA. And I just didn't have a deep enough gallery. I wanted to, like, the budget going into the season wasn't there. And, like, I got some wins early on, which was great. But learning the market and everything like that, it took me a little while to get up to speed on that. And I'm going to be really, like, gearing up for next season and making some buys in the off season for NBA, but decided to kind of get it while I can and go after, this full season long of MLB. So made some nice trades. Basically I sold a Kevin Durant for a 70 or 80 and, was able to basically swap that out for a Vladdy or an Austin Riley. A lot of use out of that. Ended up going Bichette. Sold some other stuff too. I don't exactly remember what I all sold, but I got a nice little balance in there. Chris Bryant to pair with that CJ Crone. Nolan Arenado I thought was pretty good value for last year's card. I think the second most expensive was like 60 in the 60s. So 33% below floor.
Mm-hmm.
Some more cards.
Who's Kevin Ginkel?
Ginkel's I follow, shout out to fantasy Just Baseball, fantasy baseball podcast. Like, they've been talking this guy up a lot. One of the better arms in the Diamondbacks bullpen. So
gotcha.
He might get some save opportunities here, and I picked him up for $1.31.
Nice.
Why not? That could be that's a guy that's going to be like maybe crack the rotation for National League or something like that. It's going to be deep, especially
sometimes it's fun to grab a spec play on $1.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun. What questions, anything in here? Samuel says, do I swap CJ Crone tomorrow for a different tier 1?
I definitely would.
Crone's a tier 1 right now?
Is he? If he is, I was assuming that piece. I can check.
Crone's a tier 2.
Is he a tier 2? Okay.
That's what I got in my
reward. Right, because you just got him. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, you could at least see what's out there. He actually didn't play today. He's sick. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like swapping the tier 2s and tier 1s, because even if you've got a tier 1 guy that you really like, you can always back out of it and you might get Judge or you might get Ohtani. And who would you rather have? The guy, like, would you rather have, Scherzer or Ohtani? Yeah. So if it's, to me, that's the upside that I'm looking for when swapping the commons.
I'm having a tough time on my swaps right now too. I mean, like, I like my arms.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Brown, Dustin May, Strider, Loaiza guy. I picked up Doval, who's just not looking too good. Varsho, I think I'm going to keep. I think Belt is going to be one that I'm down to give up, and then hopefully I just get some more. Common cards, because I'm one behind, basically. One behind because I got a limited instead of a common in game week 2.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
I've picked up 2 tier 2s through the first 2 game weeks, so that's allowed me some more flexibility with doing those swaps.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, should we wrap it up here, go into candy? I don't know if there's anything else. I don't know if we should build a lineup, or if anybody in the chat has any questions, you can feel free to throw them in there. We can chat about those, but I think we do a quick candy.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me jump in there.
I would build my lineup with you guys, but I definitely can't do the limited one right now because I don't have that much brain capacity and I need a lot more time, and we'd be sitting here for a really long time. I can do the common one, but that's not going to be like too crazy because like I don't have many options. So I mean, it's going to be pretty much a variation of what you've already seen. So let's throw candy in here.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
So we talked about Showstoppers. Those packs have continued to appreciate. Those are selling for about 150 on secondary right now. So
insane.
Yeah, it really is. Let's look real quick.
Hold on, we got a question in here from DJ Loco. Are you staying away from catchers in general? The only thing, DJ Loco, I don't like about catchers is they get a lot of rest. But no, I'm not staying away from catchers in general. I'd be down to play them, but I think there's just better options sometimes. Who's really raking right now? I mean, I'd play Adley if I had him for sure.
My answer to that is absolutely yes. I'm staying away from catchers. Yeah. The only thing that's intriguing about catchers is that I like what Sorare did in terms of where you play them, which is as a middle infielder. Yeah. There's less pop in middle infield. So a guy like Adley or Real Muto, maybe the only two I'd consider. Besides that, like what you said, too much rest. They get battered and beaten by the end of the season. It's not the most offensive player.
Yeah, I really like Alejandro Kirk's bat as of last year, but like, and I do, you know how I love the Blue Jays this year. So, but he's not doing anything, man. Like, I mean, he started off cold. I'm not going to sell, but I'm not starting him this week. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. Those guys got to prove it to me. Plus this, like I said, there's just so many bats in that Blue Jays lineup. Only a few of them are hitting right now, but yeah, that's a really good question on the catchers. So, let me see here. Lincoln's got a question in here too.
Look at these Showstoppers packs that are selling today, dude.
What are they going for?
170.
Wow.
I hadn't even looked at them today.
That's insane. Is that have to do with the legendary pulls? Like what's going on in there? Trey Turner and Austin Riley have to be in my core for game week 4, right? Yeah. I mean, like if you have Trey Turner and Austin Riley, you got to put them in there. Be in your core. I don't get what you mean by that, but yeah, they got to be in the lineup for sure. Austin Riley. I think the Braves have a really good matchup this week. I forget who they're up against.
The Braves are up against.
Do you think they will add a catcher position in the future? No, I don't think so. I think
Braves actually have a pretty solid schedule this week, going up against Cincinnati for game week 4 and Kansas City for game week 5.
Okay, so they got some arms. Okay. Cincinnati for game week 4. And then what about the Phils?
Phillies are, I think they've got a decent matchup because I'm considering stacking them. Yeah, they've got Miami and Cincinnati, and they're playing all 7 games, which is intriguing.
Okay.
Across game weeks 4 and 5.
Miami and Cincinnati. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got Sandy and Luzardo, but I mean, Cabrera's not bad too. What's his face? Trevor. He didn't look too good.
Trevor Rogers, yeah.
Yeah, Rogers.
But yeah, so if we want to shift it back to candy here. Yeah, so I hadn't even seen these. These were selling for 150 yesterday, and really it just comes down to a lack of supply. There's only 18 listed here.
Wow.
There's only 386 unripped remaining out of the 2,000. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's everything. I think that they nailed this drop. They got all the numbers right. They sold them at a affordable cost. They got the mint counts right. And most importantly, they look awesome. Like they just look awesome. I finally just scooped up my Epic Devers. I saw a deal the other night, but nice. So to me, I've always felt that the video file on Candy that shows the card itself just shimmying slowly, to me, that's always been my favorite part. Not that I don't like the highlight square with the video. I like that too, but this is the perfect overlap between cards and digital cards to me. And so I really like the way that they put all of that into one on this particular drop. And what I mean by that is if you compare it to, say, I think I grabbed this Mullins for like $1 the other day. Most of them, it's all baked into this one thing, like the video's in here, and then you have to actually click to the separate file to see the card itself. And so this has always been my favorite part of a candy collectible. And I like the way that they meshed the video with the card itself. So to me, they got it right across the board. And I think that we're seeing that in the secondary values of everything.
Rarity is huge to me. I mean, like the supply that they put out on it, like they're doing it right for sure. You love to see that. They look beautiful. You're right, on point. I have always loved the dynamic stats, you know, like one of my favorite cards this period is Sandy Alcantara's, you know, Cy Young year. I have the #1 Titan on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I was looking at that and just like really, really wanted that one. And, you know, like just to have the stats on there, like the number of innings pitched, strikeouts, ERA, like what got him that Cy is just so cool.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Agreed. Yeah, so that's Showstoppers. That continues to be a headline here. We also had the first play of the week pack drop.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have a good list on that. I know that there are people keeping track of it in Discord. I think Wax Pack Legends had a running list. I would jump into Talking Candy Discord or the Candy Discord and ask. But I know that there are some good ones left. I know that there are. Which just the ratio alone is worth figuring out because we're down to only 400 of those packs out of 2,000. So they could be underpulled, and that could be a big reason for it. It probably is. But yeah, so we had the first play of the week packs. It dropped on Monday, the day after we last filmed. They look like this, which are sick. They've got 2 play of the weeks per pack, and you can see the odds here. 1 in 100 packs have the epic. There's only 10 of them, and that was Judge's home run on opening day. The 2 rares were Yoshida's first hit and Adley Rushman's 5 for 5 day on opening day. And then uncommon and core they're both relative. Like the cores are, you know, those are $1 on aftermarket, but the rares and the epics are pulling a lot. The epic Judges are pulling like $1,000 on secondary sales. And there was even a cool back-to-back Trout Ohtani uncommon that is holding about $20 value. So these are a very nice shift from the play of the day format last year. I think that they really upgraded it. And, you know, these are not going for really much more than they sold for. They sold for $20. They're selling for between 25 and 30. But they didn't go the wrong way either, right? And so I think they priced them properly. They sold out, and it'll be interesting to see what they do tomorrow when they drop week number 2. And we'll have to see what those plays are within those packs.
Nice.
And then the last thing that jump in.
Can we do a market check, please?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
On the Masataka Yoshida rare and the Adley Rutschman 5 for 5.
Yeah, Yoshida has been hanging out right here around $70.
Okay.
There have been some really nice ones that I wish that I saw. The perfect one for 83. I would have bought that in a second if I saw it. And there have been some single digits like this 3 for 55, but you needed to be on the ball to snipe those. Those did not last on the marketplace very long. And then what was the other one? Adley?
Yeah, Adley. I'll read from Panther Rob while you look that up. Panther Rob said, "Don't put Panther Rob does not put a premium on PODDs / play of the weeks over time because there are so many days, especially for first hits." What do you mean by that? Hold on, break that down. I'm maybe just tired.
I think he's saying. I think he's just saying that the thing that we saw last year with play of the days is that by the end of the season, there are so many of them, and there's lots of guys that get their first hit, et cetera, et cetera. So I get that point, but my counter argument is that because now the cores and the uncommons are going to look like last year's play of the days in terms of aftermarket value, if not worse.
Yeah.
But the rares and the epics are the balance to that. And because they got that right, I think that these are going to hold value.
Yeah.
So there just aren't enough of them. Whereas if this if this Adley 5 for 5 on opening day was open mint last year, there may have been 500 of them. Instead, there's only 35. So anything that's really cool that happens in rare or epic, I think is going to hold substantial value.
Perfect example off the top of my head. I think that's a good point from Panther Rob, but like, I think it also depends on the guy. And overall, I just think it's much better this way because last year, like people were buying multiple, right? And Bobby Witt Jr.'s first hit, like 2,200 in minted, so like that doesn't make sense. Like I was one of the guys who bought them, of course. Love it. I think he's going to be great, but 2,200 of them is not going to be anywhere moving the needle. And I wish I wouldn't have spent $15 on 4 of them.
I actually, that Bobby Witt, I have a story on that. I actually got the 1 serial that day.
No,
it was the very first play of the day. And I got the 1 serial. I was quick to the draw. We weren't at random serials at that point. And I was sitting there and we had no idea what aftermarket value was going to be on these things. We had not had one yet.
Right.
And so, like you said, they were $15. I listed it for $1,111.11 just as a joke. And it sold 10 minutes later.
Oh my goodness.
That was by far the biggest flip I've ever had in candy. And I was not expecting it to sell when I listed it, but that was a very cool day.
That is awesome, man. Love that story. Huge. I mean, look, you never know, right? Like I have a couple of play of the day. Like a lot of my collections, like, special cereals, right? I like the ones that are the first play of the day, like just stuff that's cool to me. And I think I paid, I don't know what I paid for it. Less than 100 for sure for a Brandon Crawford walk-off 35 jersey number. It's his only play of the day on the platform. Love it. Like that's one of my favorites. I have a Bo Bichette number 11, and I think it was his 3-homer game. But love that one too. So, but yeah, man, it's cool. That story is all time though.
But to your point, the key is to buy stuff that you like. Buy stuff that you like, and you don't like. I have so much Red Sox candy, and a lot of it is not worth what I bought it for a year ago or 8 months ago or whatever, and I don't care because I'm in the collection of it. There are certain things that I'm flipping. Of course, I will definitely flip stuff that doesn't have an emotional attachment.
Sure.
But then I'm using that to go buy stuff that I really do care about. For me, it's Red Sox. For you, it's Giants. But then if you don't attach it to market value and you just buy the stuff that you're happy to have, then if stuff goes up, great. If it doesn't, appreciate that you have it, right? Having play of the days of games that I went to. I love that. Like, so cool. Awesome. To me, that's the way to mitigate frustration in a volatile market is to collect stuff that you like.
How many do you have of games that you've actually been at?
So I think we talked a couple episodes ago that I've got that Judge getting thrown out at the plate against the Red Sox in the wild card game.
Yep.
I've got that one. And then the Vasquez 13th inning walk-off against the Rays in the divisional series. I have that. And now I need to get one of these Yoshidas because I was actually at opening day with my brother. So I'll have to get Yoshida. So that will be the third one. I think that's the list.
That's awesome. I have these are my 3 right here. Juan Soto wins the home run derby.
Nice.
I should probably pick up the Julio Rodriguez home run derby one too, because that was just so electric.
Yeah.
We have this one right here. This is my home run derby digital ticket. And
you got that one was from just going, right? You got that airdropped?
Yeah. And then the Stephen Vogt walk-off. It's such a good story, man. I was there with my grandma. I took her. It was the last game of the season. like 2 hours before. I just happened to be up in the Bay. I didn't even know that, like the Angels were going to be in town, right? And she loves Ohtani. So we went out and he was on the mound. So we had to go see the game. And we were at that one. Stephen Vogt hit a walk-off in his final at bat. It was so cool.
I remember that game because I remember ESPN or whoever emphasizing the fact that it was Stephen Vogt's last game of his career. He had every right to mail it in, and he was practicing taking short hops off of his chest protector pregame, just like getting ready, just like right to the very end.
Dude, I was watching him do that pregame.
Really?
We walked down there and she was like, she's old. So walking down the steps and walking back up the steps of the Coliseum was tough. Plus if she cuts herself, she's getting rust in her cut, from all the grossness of the Coliseum. But yeah, there was a crowd over there. We're like, what's going on? We went to check it out. And yeah, it was Vogt just blocking balls in the dirt, man. It was so cool to see. Greg, what's going on? He came in to drop his Sunday night baseball prediction. Braves with the dong from Olsen. I love that. Let me see here. Are we done with candy for the day? Or
I wanted to hit one more thing real quick because and this will only take 2 minutes, but we also had another challenge this week, and I think that these are worth monitoring because we've all wanted to understand what type of impact this is going to have on candy just as a whole. There's so many things that it could impact. And so this week's weekly challenge, which dropped on Friday at 1 p.m., are the 2023 Rookie of the Year candidates. They did this a little bit differently. You needed to have an uncommon or better, which I loved. People are collecting higher rarities, should be rewarded in certain areas. Full sets at core, cool. But I like the way that they did that. And what we saw was a whole lot of movement. So just in the last 24 hours, you can see 4-8, 4-8, 4-7, 4-7, 4-7, 4-7. I sold one there. I think there's 4 pages.
You might be frozen. I don't know if I can see anything. It's
I'm on the here we go.
There we go. Hold on, what time is it? It's 4:08. Ooh.
Oh, you know what? It's because it's opening a new tab. But point being, a ton of movement. 4 or 5 pages of each one of these guys getting bought and sold on secondary, and that was the type of thing that we're looking to see. So just wanted to highlight that is happening. But
that's a great point. Good collector tip too. I always kind of like to think that if you're gonna sell, if you want to go get something else immediately, yeah, cool, go sell. But for me, I guess, I was trying to build up a little bit of a candy balance to do some collecting and buying and stuff like that. But had I waited and sat on my, Francisco Alvarez, I think it was an uncommon or something like that I had ripped in that first pack that I ever got, instead of just selling it to kind of go and get something else, then this could have been a good time to do it. The reason I said, it's 4:08, it's because the game starts at 4:10 and we haven't made our predictions and we haven't done our picks yet, but it's okay. We can kind of skip that this week and go into, I'll just show it real quick. But when Greg popped in here and he said that he predicts the Braves with the dong from Olsen, put a smile on my face because this is what I have up for the prop pick.
There you go.
There we go. I had Olsen. These are the two that I like for this game. And, Olsen, the matchup is Dodd versus Lugo. And Bogarts is just looking good. He's actually leading off today, which is really interesting. Bogarts leading off. I like him with a single. He's been seeing the ball, off of a rookie pitcher. And then Olsen off of Lugo. And 1.5 hits, runs, RBI. So Greg and I are on the same page. I actually might go Padres. But
yeah, I was going to say, so just to recap last week, you and Greg both took Texas, right? And I took Philly.
Yeah.
So you guys are both 1-0 and I'm 0-1. Tough loss. Texas took last week 2-1.
Swept.
But yeah, so we've got, where are we here? Oh, wrong one. I am also going to go with San Diego because I'm just on the San Diego train this year. I love Atlanta too. But I like Lugo over Dodd, and I'm going San Diego.
Yeah. All right, there it is. Greg with the it's hard to go against the Braves, I will say. I think the Padres are going to come to play. I'm excited to watch it. Sunday Night Baseball.
Me too.
What a way to end the week. Here's my lineup. Oh, shoot. Here's my lineup for Sorare. Nothing special. Same thing that we kind of looked at. And then the last thing was, I guess we're pretty much done. The last thing was I kind of wanted to check in and see what the final current game week was looking like, just to see if I have any shot whatsoever on a nice, tasty reward this week. Oh, no, upcoming. I pressed the wrong button. Because this is what it's about, right? Going into Sunday Night Baseball, where do you stand a chance? It looks like Bichette had a nice game. Ooh, I'm getting up there. I want that 500, even if I don't get to 200, I'm getting up there closer to that 500 with Riley and Acuna. And looks like Varsho finally put some points on the board. So 1994, I need 500 for a tier 1. Tier 1 would be cool.
Yeah, I'm a lot of mediocrity for me this week.
Oh my goodness. I jumped up with the Chapman too. 69 points from Chapman, 241st. I'm in the limited now.
Damn, there you go. Yeah, I'm 8 points away from cashing in a limited contest, but other than that, it's been a forgettable week.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Let me see here. Should I join the Common Minors contest or Common All-Star?
All-Star. We all started in the same place with common cards. All-Star has better prizes. It's that simple to me.
There we go. Anything else?
I love baseball.
Me too. I want to thank everybody for stopping in live today. This was the best live that we've had. Most people in. So keep on joining us here at the same time every single week. Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. This is the Weekly Walkoff. It's been a lot of fun. Had a blast. Nate, there we go. Nate, Greg, who is pinned down at the bottom, couldn't be with us today, but he'll be back with us next week. I'm Eric. I'll see you guys next one. Talk to you soon.